it seems really f***ing sexist and creepy for you to be saying these things.
Sorry to break it to you, but as a human, you're allowed to not like one female without hating all women.
By the way, we weren't suing Froggy.
While recording this video, Froggy dropped a document Idubbbz sent to quote-unquote ask for the $15,000 back. Idubbbz uploaded a response video to the Creator Clash drama, and in my excitement for the content cop guy, I watched the video and was super disappointed. This guy truly became exactly what he used to make fun of, and the majority of this video is either dishonestly framed or just soy. There's a lot of soy in this video. Let's just jump into it Philly D style, shall we?
The main reason Froggy was kicked from the card was for collaborating with Sam Hyde. And, for anyone who's been following the story, that's, fairly obvious. Froggy has explained his side of the story multiple times. And unfortunately, he's been perpetuating a narrative that it's about OnlyFans or that it's about Anissa's mom. And that's extremely deceptive because he knows why he was kicked from the card. The one indication I gave him was Sam Hyde, and I wasn't unclear about that.
But it wasn't obvious. You didn't give a reason at all to why he was banned. You waited until after the event to say like, oh no, yeah, it's because of Sam Hyde. How could anyone know the exact reason when you didn't say anything? Plus, even Harley said it couldn't be Sam Hyde because he trained with him too.
I'm sorry it didn't work out for Froggy, and I can't speak for anyone or anything, and I'll tell you it's not the Sam thing, because I was allowed to train with Sam.
And you say that Froggy's spreading this narrative. No, everyone was, because you didn't give a reason. The ban happened right after he made the OnlyFans joke, so logically, if you're not going to give a reason, then we're probably going to guess that it's because of that. Based on the information available, it was a totally reasonable conclusion that anyone could draw to. The fact that everyone got it wrong was your fault because you didn't explain. We don't live in your brain, dumbass.
Anyone who's mentioning the fact that Harley trained with Sam Hyde for the year previous, that was before Sam was saying this about my wife.
I don't think so, Anissa. Bitch. Ho. Fucking Anissa. What an ugly piece of shit. But look how beat she is. Oh, nice jack-o'-lantern teeth.
That's like
I can't wait to see what she looks like when she's 32. Her teeth look like a pumpkin head. It's the Anissa Joma hole stretcher. I'm sending this to Anissa's OnlyFans. It goes directly into charity.
Yeah.
Everybody hates him and his wife's a slut.
So yeah, now that this guy is on the daily insulting my wife, I think it's pretty fair to, not want to associate with him in any way. We did ban Sam from the first event, so it's not as if he's confused about where he stands in all this. I don't like him. And Froggy knows that. Froggy knows that I don't like him. Of course, that's why he was banned.
Okay, cool. That explanation's fine. You got bitter at Sam Hyde because he was talking shit about your wife. I think most people would too. But at the same time, who cares? Sam was banned already, so Froggy knew he wouldn't attend. Fucking everyone knew. But just because Sam's a dickhead, you banned Froggy for working with him outside the event itself? I know you hate Sam Hyde, but this is just stupid logic.
None of this is like news to Froggy. Froggy knew all of this going into it. For anyone who's under the impression that Froggy has been reasonable and chill and respectful through this whole process, he hasn't been. He's been a piece of shit. I'm not happy with how he's behaved. He's talked mad shit about me.
Ian doesn't want people who are bigger and more talented than him upstaging him. That's what it is.
Anissa.
Ian's masculinity had been completely removed via Anissa.
Participants of the event.
This is really a lot of weird, tender, soft people. Creator Clash people are real these type of people. You know what I mean?
The event itself.
This is really the patty cake league for social media boxing.
He doesn't like the culture of Creator Clash, and he mentioned that.
And Chris Raygun and all these people, it's like some big ethos worshiping party at these things. And I don't get it. I don't get what all this shit is all about. Everybody's there to worship ethos or fucking ethos or touching ethos, titty or pussy.
Yeah, everyone knew you hate Sam Hyde. Nice point. Moving on. All these clips of Froggy Fresh talking shit about Creator Clash and most of the people involved was after he was banned. What's worse, Idubbbz, talking shit or banning a fighter from a boxing event 3 weeks before the event even started after doing all this training for what ended up being nothing? Just admit it, you fucked him over. And by the way, Froggy doesn't control Sam Hyde. You probably should have just straight up told him that if he trains with him, he's banned. Because you say you told him that's why he was banned, but you also showed these screenshots where he asked you about it. By the way, these screenshots come up later, so when they do, I'm just gonna address them then.
To be honest, I thought it was quite the gift to you that we'd kick you off the card. You have no more obligations, and you can immediately just pivot into boxing for misfits. It's like that's the culture that you want. You want the non-sissy, you want the macho dude traditional boxing culture, so go over there and box for them. You don't even have to miss that many months of training. You've been training. So hop on one of those cards. But unfortunately, Froggy doesn't want to hop on one of those cards because he thinks the skill level is too high.
Personally, in my opinion, I think the talent at Misfits and Happy Punch is in a different league that is out of my league.
Footwork is amazing.
Be out the sand lot and I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing.
And then right here, it's down. You stop. I mean, come on. It turns quickly from boxing to assault.
Just fight someone who's weaker than you.
So I'm done with boxing. I can fulfill my current obligations. If for some reason Creator Class changed their mind, I could fulfill my current obligations. I'm not interested in going further in any other boxing.
It's such a fucking cop-out that you're like, all right, I'm such a victim for getting kicked off the Creator Clash event when I knew what would get me kicked off the Creator Clash event. And now you're like, I don't want to box anymore. It's like, come on.
It's so funny to me hearing this guy basically call him a pussy even though you banned him because of his coach. Not only that, but who in Creator Clash is going to go into like actual boxing and go to different events? I'm willing to bet it's probably zero, most likely zero. And I'm sorry, but anyone who gets banned has every right to talk shit. Like I said in the last video, you're a pussy.
If you look at my text exchange with Froggy, it's very clear that I didn't want to kick him from the card.
Okay, before this cuck continues, let's actually read the messages. Hey dude, I just wanted to clarify that I'm not mad at you. I just want this event to go well, and part of that is trying to be proactive about things. I just want to find a solution. I really appreciate your friendship and I don't want to feel like I've upset you. I don't understand what's wrong. Can I not work with Sam Hyde? He's been very nice to me. It's just a tricky situation. I've personally been hurt by a lot of the things he's done. If he's your friend, that's totally understandable. I just don't get along with him and I'm afraid of having him associated with the event. There are others involved in the event that also aren't comfortable with, and then it continues, but for some reason it doesn't show the whole thing. I don't know, Android bullshit. Yeah, he's my friend. I don't understand what me going to Rhode Island to work with Sam has to do with anyone who is uncomfortable with him. They don't have to see or work with him. I agree, privately what you do is absolutely only your business. But because we are running a public charity event, we have to be careful about these things. Because you do represent the event in some ways. I had similar issues last year. I thought, no problem, Harley. You can work with Sam Hyde. But it ended up attracting a bad crowd and I got harassed online about it a lot. Because it was a public display. That's nice of you to give Harley permission to work with Sam Hyde. I didn't know I needed your permission as well. It's not about permission. He just called and asked if I was cool with it, because he was making content around it. So what are we actually discussing right now? If I work with Sam Hyde, are you going to prevent me from fighting in the event? He actively makes content wanting my marriage to end, that my wife is evil, and hasn't respected my boundaries. I don't feel comfortable with having him associated with the event. I'm wondering if you can understand where I'm coming from on that. I can understand the way you feel. I'm sorry about that. But you also have to understand that he's my friend. So I can't just tell him that I can't be friends with him because Ian said so. That's why I'm asking you, if I work with him, are you going to prevent me from fighting in Creator Clash 2? It's not a reflection on you. It's just a very painful and difficult thing for me that I'm dealing with that I need to keep a distance from, and that includes this project. I would just appreciate a yes or no answer, man. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to boxing practice tomorrow or not. It kind of depends on what your plan is, because Sam Hyde is banned from our event. If you want him to be there, we cannot accommodate that. My plan is to go to Rhode Island and hang out with him. So again, I ask, if I go to work with him, are you going to prevent me from fighting in Creator Clash 2? I would appreciate a yes or no answer. I have to talk to my coach about practice this week. Wait, I'm not sure I understand. Does that mean you aren't expecting him to be at the event? Are you going to make content together? He has not mentioned attending the event. I don't believe he intends to do so. I have not discussed it with him. I do intend to make content with him. Now that I've answered your questions, would you be respectful enough to answer mine? This event is really important to me, and I'm just trying to understand everything so I can make the best decision for everyone involved. I need time to think about this. I don't want to be rash. So I'm going to schedule practice this week, not knowing whether or not you're allowing me to fight in the event because I'm going to hang out with someone you don't like? Okay. I don't understand why you're talking to me like this. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I explained the awful experience I've had with him. It potentially leads to another year of harassment for me and Anissa. I can't take this stuff lightly. Can you guarantee that it's not going to end up affecting, and then it goes on but we can't see it? This isn't just someone I don't like. This is someone who's dedicated to disrupting an event we're running for charity, harassing its two main organizers, and sending his fan base to do his bidding. I want you to fight. I just want you to know the pain he's caused me, Anissa, and our event. Dude, because you're trying to tell me who I can and can't be friends with, I'm going to Rhode Island to work with Sam, and I'm scheduling my practices for this week. If I'm being removed from the event, please let me know. I never said you couldn't be friends with him. I would just prefer if you waited until after the event to post content with him. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not the type of person you can just make do whatever you want or what is convenient for you. I have a life and a family. You're not going to change my mind. I'm going to work with him. I'm trying to cook dinner for my kids. Sounds like your personal problems are interfering with your business. It wasn't my intention to dictate things to you. I just wanted to give you my perspective because we haven't talked about this topic before. Ultimately, it is your decision. I'm sorry the convo went in this direction. Okay, I'll fight. Thanks. So from the messages, Froggy kept acting like Idubbbz wanted him to stop being friends with Sam Hyde, even though the messages don't show him saying that at all. Obviously, we don't know if there was more prior, because Idubbbz showed what he wanted to show, but unless Froggy releases other messages, I'm gonna assume everything's in context. And Idubbbz wasn't clear in these messages at all whether working with Sam would get him banned or not. If these are the only messages they exchanged before Creator Clash banned him, then Idubbbz is totally lying about telling him that Sam was the reason he was banned. The only thing that I see is Ian trying to convince him not to work with Sam and refusing to tell him if it would get him banned or not. I guess he needed to think about it, but did he really? I strongly doubt that he needed to think about it. Let's be honest.
I got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want you working or training with Sam Hyde, but you're doing that, so all right, I'll look past it. I don't want you making content with Sam Hyde, but it seems like that's a real deal breaker for you, so I guess I'll look past it. It came to the point where I was like, can you postpone releasing content with Sam Hyde?
You didn't say any of that. We just went through the messages you provided where you ranted about him hurting your feelings and never giving a yes or no answer. But going off of what you just said, if you let all that shit slide and then ban him 3 weeks before the event, that seems fucking malicious. That seems kind of like fucking snaky in my opinion. You never told him it would get him banned, and then you just banned him anyway. But you didn't just ban him anyway, you waited until 3 weeks before the event. Fuck that, dude. That's fucking scummy as shit.
Look, you know me and Sam don't get along. You know, we put a lot of time and energy in this creator clash thing. I don't want it to be about Sam Hyde, so just don't let it hurt the event, all right? Go train with him, have fun, but don't let it hurt the event. Don't make it about Sam Hyde. That's what I would have said to you if I was Idubbbz.
Right, and guess what? Like, I'd even plan on releasing none of the Sam Hyde content until after the event.
If you don't know who Sam Hyde is, whether or not you love him or hate him, you have to recognize him as he's the most talented comedian alive. He's the most talented comedian of our generation. He's gonna probably be the greatest comedian of all time. He's he's a genius. I got a chance to go out there and train with him. He welcomed me into his environment. He paid people to train me.
I'd even plan on releasing none of the Sam Hyde content until after the event.
Didn't you tell them that? I thought you told them that.
Ian requested it through text. He requested that I did that. What I didn't like that he requested that because I don't think that's appropriate. I was like,
he didn't think it was appropriate. I do not think that is appropriate. Do you think it's appropriate that, I don't know, 30-something-year-old man is publicly calling my wife a whore and a slut?
I think initially you can just buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this has got a separate Etsy page where she sells her pussy.
Yoko Ono was too concussed to fight in Creator Clash for the second year in a row.
Life is so easy for a certain gender. All you have to do is say that my uterus hurts. What did she say this time? Her uterus hurts? Or uterus fell out?
She had another concussion.
Probably your uterus fell out from getting blown out so much by toys.
Is that appropriate, Froggy? Do you think that's appropriate?
I don't think that's appropriate.
Okay, you don't think it's appropriate that I set boundaries. I don't think it's appropriate that you are hanging out with a guy who doesn't think women are people. Like, I don't think that's appropriate.
I was like, I don't think you should be telling me when I can't release content. Like, this is my career. It's what I do for a living.
But you complied with it, right?
But I was going to anyways, but I didn't like people telling me that. I thought that was out of line.
I don't know why he's saying that he was planning on waiting to post Sam Hyde content. We have the Twitter timeline of him nonstop posting Sam Hyde content. It's fucking weird. I don't know if he thought it was like a loophole to post on Twitter about Sam Hyde. So I think in his head he was like, I was gonna wait to post Sam Hyde content. Parentheses, YouTube video.
Okay, I don't know how appropriate asking him to delay his content is. I guess it depends on if they both agreed to it. But if it wasn't in the terms of the contract or agreed upon, at least through these messages, I don't see how Idubbbz is in the right to ban him, especially after he waited until 3 weeks before the event. You not only fucked over Froggy Fresh, but you also fucked over Chris Raygun. Did you see his opponent at Creator Clash? Like, what the fuck is this? Like I said in the last video, I know nothing about this type of contract, let alone their specific contract. I'm just throwing out a guess on that. But you're contradicting your messages when you make this point about how appropriate it is for Froggy to hang out with Sam. I know this is your emotional response, but you did say this isn't a reflection on you. But at the same time, you're using this guilty by association argument. Which one is it? Is being friends with Sam Hyde a reflection on him or not? And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say this right now. When people say content, no one's talking about tweets. This is completely bullshit. If I were king of the universe and made the definition for content, I would say something you post that you can put monetization or make profit off of. I mean, I could be retarded. I don't know, but those are just my thoughts on that.
Like, cause like it's not my problem that you have personal beef with the greatest comedian in the world. If I go to Providence,
How am I the simp? How am I the simp? I want to know. Is it because it's a woman? It's because it's a woman, isn't it? It's okay to simp for a big, gross dude. It's okay. It's understandable. He's big and he's gross. As soon as you simp for someone who's literally your partner, your life partner, that's too much. That's kind of gay.
Bro, clip of the year. Clip of the year.
How am I the simp?
Yeah, Sam might be big and gross, but when you look like this, you lose the right to call anyone else gross. Your looks went from a contributing member to society to the grumpy old troll that lives under the bridge.
if I go to Providence, Rhode Island and get an opportunity to work with him, that should be my option to when I release that content. And it's got nothing to do with you. Not everything that people do with Sam Hyde involves Idubbbz. And I think that he misinterprets that.
We're not talking about people. We're talking about what you do with Sam Hyde because you're in my event. I wish there were many layers of separation so I really could be that disconnected. Unfortunately, I have to be around you. You have to fight at my event. I have to share the same space as you know, in the parties, at the event itself, and I don't want to do that. I have no interest in sharing that space with you.
Okay, if you don't want him in your event, you should have just banned him when he started training with Sam. Instead, you waited until right before the event to do that. If these text messages are your way of warning him, you're a fucking coward.
Another thing that contributed to Froggy getting kicked was that he tweeted at Nathan Barnett, aka Dad. He said, "Dude, I tried hyping you up at Denny's when we ate dinner, and they said they weren't fucking with you and that you were going to lose to AB. They don't even like you." This is one of those things where it was like, oh, okay, so you basically don't have any good intentions here. You are just like, you don't like us. Like, I'm not here to play with people and give them warnings. Like, we're all adults on the card. I'm not going to give you a warning. Actually, no, I will give you a warning if I think you have good intentions. The problem is when you tweet shit out like this and you have the text message exchange that Froggy had with me, I don't think you have good intentions. You're like trying to like ruin a relationship between me and one of my friends. Froggy deleted that tweet, and I don't think he deleted it because he felt differently. I think he deleted it because he knew that it could potentially get him kicked from the event and would also make him look like an asshole.
Look, if he was lying, I would say that's kind of fucked. But you didn't deny it then, and you're not denying it now. And if it is true, then you were talking shit about him. Don't start pulling the, "oh my god, you're trying to break my friend and I up" card when you say a bunch of shit that you wouldn't say to his face. And now you're saying you're not giving warnings? We're all adults here? You acted like a bitch this entire time. And you get to decide if they have good or bad intentions? I mean, it's your event, but you totally are dictating things. Don't say otherwise in the text messages.
Sam Hyde, Froggy's hero, calls Nathan a rapist like several times.
That Nathan Barnett guy, I guarantee you that guy would rape somebody if he had the opportunity.
Disavow. I disavow. That's fucked up.
I don't want anything to do with Sam. I don't want anything to do with people that think what Sam is doing is okay. It is not okay. Here's part of the Twitter space where Harley is sort of questioning Tyler with why he wouldn't, respond to Anissa. And I think that's a very valid question because you ask any of our fighters and it's like, yeah, Anissa was the one who like solves problems. She is more communicative than me and she's better at communicating than I am. I fucking suck at this shit.
I absolutely agree, because Froggy didn't know that working with Sam would get him banned until he was banned.
How was I even supposed to know Ian and Anissa were mad when I get one call from Justin Tracy, then a text message, I respond to it immediately, say, could you communicate through text or email? I'm training, and then nothing else. I still don't even know if Ian and Anissa.
What's the last text you sent Anissa?
It was probably some group message from
okay, but what was the last
4
text
months
you
ago.
sent to Anissa, just you two?
I don't have one direct text from Anissa.
Anissa's
I have
never
a group
texted
chat
you.
with my wife and Anissa. There's a group chat.
Your wife
I do not have any
I'm
direct
so sorry.
contact.
Okay. Did anyone ever text you and your wife? What was the last thing Anissa sent you and your wife to you and your wife's phone? What was the last thing?
Tense moments in the Twitter space as Froggy goes to see.
It's, hey, Tyler, I'm not with Ian. I'm home visiting family. Ian called me not feeling great, and I'm just trying to understand what's happening or how I can help.
What's the date?
Sunday, March 12th.
You don't want to respond to that?
No, because you don't know the context of that. You don't have the context. Harley, let me give you the context.
Burn her Twitter account instead of responding to that very serious and
Harley,
sympathetic text that was nowhere near threatening or aggressive.
Froggy wasn't able to give context for why he didn't respond to Anissa's call and text message in the Twitter space. Harley ended up leaving. The conversation went elsewhere. So he uploaded a Twitter video to explain the context for why he didn't respond to Anissa.
Anissa's last text, which was checking on me. Anissa's concern text of hope everything's going okay was a way for her to try to manipulate the situation, to try to do further investigation into my friendship with Sam Hyde. That was not an "Are you okay?" text. That was a Ian is not able to break your shell. Maybe a vague, concerned, manipulative text from me will be able to.
He thinks this text message is manipulation. No, Froggy, we wanted to solve the problem.
Despite all the bullshit in this video, this is actually a fair criticism. Why wouldn't you answer the text? Even if you think it's going to be manipulative, at least hear her out before you ghost her.
Let me just say, Anissa is just trying to exist. You know, she doesn't want anything to do with the drama. She doesn't want anything to do with this shit. And I have brought a lot of it into her life. And I take responsibility for that. But unfortunately, a lot of people who think that I've changed or call me a cuck or whatever, they've decided, instead of saying that I've changed and that I'm the decider of my future, it's that Anissa has changed me. So she has been the target of a lot of hate. And I think it's really shitty. And hearing Tyler talk about her in this way is just a reminder where it's like, Anissa's trying to manipulate you? What the fuck was I doing? Was I trying to manipulate you as well? Like, you should probably come out and say that because it seems really fucking sexist and creepy for you to be saying these things.
Okay, buddy. Froggy calling your wife manipulative is not sexist. Sorry to break it to you, but as a human, you're allowed to not like one female without hating all women. And with the Anissa changing you bullshit, I'm gonna say this again. Everyone who keeps saying Anissa changed Idubbbz is cringe. If you're joking about it, that's one thing. I mean, even I joke about it. But the fact that some people legitimately think you don't make your own decisions is stupid. It's fairly common for people to change with a certain partner. And taking agency away from the changed person is retarded. That being said, all the Idubbbz fans who keep saying that he changed for the better are also the people who only bring up the N-word argument. Oh, you just want him to say the N-word. You know, that's not a majority of his content back then. People liked his humor, his opinions, which seem to be the biggest grift at this point, and the style of his content. I like how his own fans think the N-word was all he did on his channel. Old videos are still up. Go look at them.
By the way, we weren't suing Froggy. We have no interest in going to court over $15,000. We wanted that $15,000 back, but, you know, he wasn't giving it to us. So we have to leave it at that. You know, we're not suing him.
In news. This just in. While recording this video, Froggy dropped a document Idubbbz sent to quote-unquote ask for the $15,000 back. Creator Clash demands that you immediately cease and desist from making any further public or private statements about Creator Clash, your participation in the event, the terms of the bout agreement or this letter, or any of the participants or event sponsors of Creator Clash. Continuing to engage in such conduct will cause you to be liable for damages to Creator Clash, and Creator Clash will seek all remedies available to it in order to protect its rights. Seems Idubbbz asking for the money was more like, give us the money, shut the fuck up. When you use the word demand, you're no longer asking for the money. Nice framing of this obvious threat. By the way, Anissa tried clarifying on Twitter, saying they have the right to the money. If you do, then sue him. You have the contract, you know what it says. Stand by your word and get your money. Either that or shut up. This was just an attempt to silence Froggy publicly and privately? How would you even go about suing for that? It's in private.
I don't think Froggy respects sex workers. I think he has some really old, tired opinions about people who do sex work. I think he has a lot of weird opinions as well about masculinity and shit.
Ian's masculinity had been completely removed via Anissa.
A lot of it's not explicitly said, but when you listen to the jokes, it's like, oh, that's actually just your opinion phrased in a comedic way.
Okay, buddy.
If it's not a joke to me, guess what? It ain't a joke. One thing that I tend to hear a lot of is, it's just a statement. I don't think we should act like every joke has to be some sort of knock-knock joke. What's brown, white, and red all over? I don't know. I don't fucking know, because it's not funny. I don't want to try.
There was some type of nerd fight last year, and Chris Raygun and all these people, it's like some big ethot worshiping party at these things, and I don't get it. I don't get what all this shit is all about. Like, everybody's there to worship ethos or fucking ethot or like touching ethot's titty or pussy. It's always that, and it's just like, what happens is people get all excited about it. And I think Chris Raygun was like, he probably thought he was gonna go there and beat some fucking nerd up, and he was gonna win. Like, I don't know if they're giving. I think they give away like OnlyFans girls there at these events. I don't know what kind of sponsorships. Like, if you win certain fights, I think you get to own some of these girls for some of the nights.
Awesome.
I don't know how it works, but I think Chris was like he had plans to go beat up a nerd and however they get to like lease one of these girls. And so like he got there. Well, Ian was probably thinking like, because I think man, I need to just stop all this probably.
No, Froggy, keep going. I think you should keep going. I think the women of the world need to hear your opinions on these things. You're a whore. You're a whore. Just admit it. You're a whore. You whore yourself out online. You whore yourself out in front of your family and your friends. You're a whore, plain and simple. Just admit that you're a whore and a slut and a harlot. Talk more about how sex workers are property. That's a funny joke. It was super funny the third time that you referred to women as property. That was the funniest one. Because when you said lease, I was like, yeah, I know what a lease is.
Do you guys think Idubbbz got his memory wiped? It's a genuine question.
Yeah, it ain't the funniest, but it sure as hell is a joke. Even if you didn't do any of the Sam Hyde stuff, why would we want you at our event? Like, if you're just gonna blatantly disrespect sex workers and women and other fighters, saying that they're here to touch ethos, like, it is so disrespectful and shitty. I don't want to share the space with you.
By the way, he's bringing up these videos and saying, why would I want you in my event? But these videos were after he was banned. I'm pretty sure he didn't talk shit about the event at all until after he was banned. So I don't know what he's trying to do here other than paint Froggy as a sexist piece of shit or something like that.
I don't think Froggy is doing Sam Hyde's dirty work by, shit-talking Anissa. I think it's just pretty clear that he holds similar opinions to Sam Hyde and similar opinions to Sam Hyde fans, which is like, you're just gonna repeat the shit that your hero is saying.
Idubbbz seems pretty desperate in trying to make Froggy look bad because of his jokes. That show that he was on in that clip aired a month after he was banned and is behind a paywall on Compound Media, which means he had to make an account, subscribe to Compound Media, probably do a 3-day trial, maybe even pay, and then sat there and watched an 1.5 hour long episode just to find this shit. By the way, I'm reiterating this tweet from Death Crypt. I'll let him finish this off.
And recorded it without asking any permission, by the way. And I'm not saying that I would go out of my way to copyright strike him, but I do just want to state on record that I wasn't asked, nor anybody at Compound Media was asked to be able to use this footage. So just remember, the cope was very real.
Tyler is like repeating all of these narratives about how I've changed for the worst. The person responsible for my change in a bad way is Anissa. Anissa is a manipulative person. Oh yeah, that I'm like concerned about getting upstaged by Sam or people who are more talented than me, which is insane to me because I've put on this event twice, me as the main fight, and I've lost both times. That's pretty upstaged. As a side note, Sam Hyde has made it a habit to try to sound like a reasonable person by saying, if Ian and Anissa just asked, I'll stop harassing them.
Yeah, if Ian ever hit me up and was like, hey man, can you leave me alone? I'd stop talking about him. Whatever, I don't care that much.
If you ask me to stop, I'll stop.
Which on its face is already an insane thing to say. Of course, no one wants to be harassed.
Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this in response to Idubbbz, but some guy on the internet talking shit isn't harassment. The way I look at harassment is something you can't avoid. Do you want to know how you avoid this harassment you're facing? Jesus, you're such a victim that this video is more sad than it is an own on Froggy. Plus, you're dishonestly framing this video to make Froggy look like he was a piece of shit when in reality, you're offended on behalf of women because of his jokes, you don't like Sam Hyde, and his shit talking happened after he was banned. You sound like those Twitter spurgs who try to cancel people because of jokes they made. Who the fuck are you to morally grandstand on these jokes that you want to call statements because it's about your wife? You and Anissa are public figures whose actions deserved criticism. If you also get laughed at because your wife has a public OnlyFans, boo-hoo. I'm so sorry that instead of taking criticism like a normal person, you want to call it harassment because you're that fragile. The fact that you want to deflect the criticism by crying for 30 minutes shows how delusional you've become over the years, and to be honest, it's pathetic.
In closing, I want to say that Creator Clash is probably the single best thing that I've ever done in my life. It has, brought so much joy to me and Anissa. It has brought the most awesome people that I've ever met. It's brought them into my life, and I'm super grateful, and I want to keep doing it, and this event means so much to me, and I'm going to protect it, and I'm going to protect the fighters and the people involved in the event, and, I'm not, when it comes to people wanting to fuck around and mess with the vibes, I'm not going to tolerate it. You're going to get kicked from the card if you're being a piece of shit, and if you're not communicating and if you're not cooperating. And I want nothing to do with Sam Hyde as well. So fuck that guy, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
You know what? In conclusion, this video was garbage.